Hello, hello, my style icons. Welcome back to Life in Style with Brianna Cantore. That is me, and consider this podcast your mental vacation, the best destination to be, besides probably Saint Tropez, obviously. Anyways, let's get into it. So, last week we spoke about everything I do externally for my skin. So, this week we're going to go internal. We're going to talk about everything I do internally to support my skin health. And before we begin, just want to make sure you know this. You probably do. I'm not a doctor, a dermatologist, an esthetician. I am simply someone that has had quite a skin journey, has learned a lot, and I want to share what works for me. We're all bio individual, we're all different people. So, what works for me doesn't necessarily work for other people, but I hope you walk away from this episode inspired, maybe learning a thing or two, maybe wanting to try one of the things that I do, and a little bit more informed about what you can do internally to help support your skin. So, this is not medical advice. Again, this is just what I do on the inside to help support my skin health. So let's get into it. So I split internal skincare up into four different pillars: nutrition, supplements, movement, and mindset. So, first, let's speak about nutrition. I focus on a whole foods diet. Probably see that all over the internet. Whole foods diet, stay away from processed foods. It's really important, not just for our skin health, but for our overall health. We are so overburdened these days by the chemicals, pesticides, toxins in our food. So the cleaner we can eat, the more close to earth that we can eat, the better. Even if it's just having very simple meals because you don't have enough time to cook these insanely elaborate dinners or lunches. Sometimes I'm just eating a piece of wild caught salmon and some bone broth rice for dinner because that's all I have time to make. But that's better than eating, say, an elaborate dish that comes out of a package, frozen meal, etc. So I really focus on just a clean diet that makes me feel good. Eating clean, eating healthily, that is just such an act of self love. And I've been on this healing journey the past 5, 6 years, and doing things out of self love instead of self hate have really been my focus. And I feel just so good when my diet is clean and it consists of whole foods. So I recommend that to everyone. And I pay close attention to how food affects my gut and my skin. Do I feel okay afterwards? Do I not? Am I running to the bathroom? I know that if I ingest dairy, I'm going to break out in some cystic acne, have some whiteheads because for some reason I just can't fully tolerate it. So, really paying attention to how I look and feel after I eat has really moved the needle on my skin health. And that can be hard because obviously we're eating so many different things throughout the day, throughout the week. But something that can help and something that's helped me is taking a gut test. I first took a biome gut test a few years ago, and afterwards, I just started raving to anyone that would listen to me. Oh my God, you have to take a gut test because the results that show up may shock you. There may be things in your diet that you didn't even realize were causing some inflammation and some discomfort. You just thought that was your baseline or didn't put two and two together that maybe corn isn't agreeing with you and you can't eat corn. So I definitely recommend the Viome gut test. The results are really easy to read. The app is great. I'll link it in the show notes so that way if you're interested in purchasing one, you can easily do so. Again, I really recommend this. Now, the reason why nutrition is so important for skin health is because the gut and the skin They may seem unrelated, but they are like best friends, cousins, totally related. They are something the gut and the skin are on a gut skin axis. You may have heard of this, you may have not. But basically, our gut and our skin are in constant communication with each other all friggin' day long, like me and my sister or my best friend, right? So they're constantly communicating through our immune system, which I believe about 70 to 80% of our immune system exists in the gut, hormones, and inflammation levels. So when the gut is inflamed, it can show up on the skin as acne, rosacea, eczema, psoriasis, redness, irritation. So that is why nutrition plays such a vital part in skin health because it is more related to your gut than you actually may know, which this is a lot of this is on social media, so you may have heard this before, but it really is the truth. And my diet was affecting my skin greatly because I was eating gluten all those years, not knowing I had a gluten allergy. And it seemed like the minute I was told to cut gluten out, that cystic acne that I fought so many years went away. Not even Accutane was able to do what cutting gluten out of my diet did for me. Now, I'm not saying gluten causes acne for everyone because, again, back to my first point, we're all bio individual. But gluten was causing acne for me because it was causing inflammation in my gut, which had a trickle effect up to my skin. So that is why nutrition is so important in your internal skincare. Here are some foods that I avoid because I personally cannot tolerate them and it shows up on my skin. So, gluten, like I said, dairy, I break out, and excess sugar. So, this is a very interesting point. Obviously, sugar, duh, causes acne. We know that. But I recently made a switch to how I drink my coffee, and it cleared up some little pesky hormonal acne. So every day I was getting a flavored syrup in my coffee, like caramel or hazelnut, whatever, and not excessive pumps of it, just the normal amount. But one day I had a realization or just like a thought, what if I remove this? Because I'm always trying to better myself, better my health, evolve. But I do it slowly, one thing at a time. So I started removing the flavors. Now I just drink my coffee, like this one, with almond milk in it and maybe a little bit of honey. Now that switch completely cleared up any hormonal acne I was getting around my period and reduced bloating. So crazy. But I guess it's not as little as I think it is because it was something I was doing every day, right? So even though it was only once a day, that adds up. And I guess my body wasn't breaking down that sugar from the syrups in the right way. And it was showing up on my skin. So I definitely avoid any excess sugar. I try to use natural sugars like honey. I love honey. Um, Not too much of it, of course, everything in moderation. But for me, at least, my body tolerates something like honey more than a syrup with sugar in it. Now, hydration. Hydration is so important for our skin internally, so important for our skin externally, probably the most important thing we do. So I drink a lot of water. I drink coconut water, which has electrolytes in it naturally. So it's great for my electrolyte levels as well. I don't do the artificial electrolyte packets in my drinks. I just drink coconut water. I love it, love the taste of it. And proper hydration supports the skin barrier, the function, the appearance. So, hydration is so important. You need to drink water. I know so many people that don't drink enough water, and it blows my mind. So, use this as a sign. If you fall into that category, drink more water and add in some coconut water because coconut water is great for hydration and electrolytes. Also, when it comes to drinks as well and hydration levels, I've been I've been alcohol free since October 2024. I started cutting out alcohol during COVID slowly. I would go a month at a time, then a month would turn into two. And finally, I had this sort of awakening that I don't want alcohol in my body at all and ever again, to be honest. I am so happy living alcohol free. It really helped that 10% of healing left that I had to do. It took me right to the finish line as far as getting rid of the last bit of inflammation and anxiety and depression. And I feel finally at home in my body now that alcohol is no longer a part of my life. And as far as my skin goes, my skin appears brighter and less puffy than it did when I was drinking alcohol, even just, socially. Alcohol can lead to dehydration and inflammation in our bodies and inflammation of the skin. So that's why when you cut it out, you automatically not only see a difference, but you feel a difference as well. Or I said that backwards. You not automatically feel a difference, but you see a difference as well in your appearance. So before we wrap up the nutrition topic, nutrition pillar, here are some skin supportive foods and drinks other than what we already spoke about. So kiwi, I love kiwi. Kiwi feels like a candy, and recently I've been eating more of it. It's high in vitamin C, and vitamin C is great for our skin. So that is a skin friendly food again for me. Noni juice. I learned about this from Miranda Kerr. She speaks about it on a few different podcast interviews as something she drinks. And it's high in antioxidants. Antioxidants obviously support the skin. It doesn't taste good, but I take it as a shot. And she looks amazing. So I was just like, well, anything she's doing, I'm going to try because rock on, girl. You look gorgeous and you're always glowing. Fresh organic celery and lemon juice. I love making this in the morning in my juicer. It really cleans me out, if you know what I mean. And it really gives me so much energy to just go throughout my day doing one thing after the other, getting a ton of work done. I really wouldn't even have to drink coffee with it, but I just love the taste of coffee. So I don't drink the coffee for energy. I drink it for just the taste. Yeah, I'd really recommend celery lemon juice. And I notice if I'm breaking out a little bit, I'm not drinking the celery and lemon juice, I'll get back to that habit and then boom, my skin clears up. Aloe vera juice shots. Aloe vera is so good for the skin internally and externally. You can buy aloe vera juice at Whole Foods. That's where I get mine. And just, you only need a little bit of it. You can't drink a lot of it, it will make you nauseous. Just a tiny bit of juice in a little shot glass. Take the shot in the morning. And this is a ritual that really helps support your skin, also your gut lining. And this is something I've been doing recently, saffron infused water. I actually purchased the saffron because I heard it was good for mood, kind of like nature's antidepressant. But when I looked into it, I also found that it's good for skin as well. And So I don't know if it's really had an effect on my skin yet because, like I said, it is a new habit. But I just wanted to share that because I also love, the effect that it has on your mood. Being in a good mood is always a good thing. And lastly, kimchi. This is another new addition. I've been on and off actually with kimchi for a few years. Have to look for the gluten-free kimchi, of course, because some use soy sauce that is not gluten-free. Fun fact, soy sauce typically isn't gluten-free. You need to look for the gluten-free versions of soy sauce. But yeah, kimchi is one of those foods that's good for your gut, and as a result, helps clear your skin and calm your skin. It's rich in probiotics, and I now don't have to take any probiotic supplements, just getting probiotics through my diet, which is huge because I used to not be able to do that deep in my really bad state, and I've healed so hard that I can now just fill my diet with probiotic rich foods like kimchi and have a healthy digestive system. So that's been great. So now let's move on to supplements. In the morning, right when I get up, I take a liquid glutathione. I keep it right in my room, in my bathroom. This supports the body's detoxification process, and I've really noticed a difference with taking the glutathione. I feel as though my body has a hard time with the detoxing process, and that stems from some of the issues I've had with inflammation and the gluten allergy. I just think my body may need a little extra support more than others, perhaps. And so the glutathione has really helped my skin. I really see it. I do it every single morning, right when I wake up. And then once I go downstairs and I'm drinking water, getting ready to bring Brooklyn outside for a walk, I take a vitamin C liquid packet. I'm using Beekeeper's Naturals. I'll link my supplements edit in the show notes so you can see all the brands of the supplements I take. And this supports collagen production. It's a powerful antioxidant, supports wound healing. So we love vitamin C for the skin. It's really important to have vitamin C rich foods in our diet, and that collagen, supporting that collagen production is just great for aging beautifully because once we hit a certain age, I think it's around 25, mid 20s, we start to lose about a percentage of collagen a year, they say. So, anything we can do to support healthy collagen levels in our skin is something I will do. So take your vitamin C. I really recommend that. Then there will be those times where I'll notice a little bit of breaking out, typically around my menstrual cycle, my monthly period. And so I will then take a DIM supplement after lunch. This supports healthy estrogen metabolism, and I definitely see it helping my hormonal breakouts. Luckily, those are very few and far in between these days, but sometimes we just have those months, and so I'll then take a dim for a few days, maybe a week, and notice such a difference. The breakout will clear right up. Another SOS supplement for when I notice some skin irritation or some pimples is sea moss gel. This contains minerals such as iodine, magnesium, potassium, and zinc, all really skin supportive minerals, vitamins. So I think that's why, or I know that's why it works so well with helping those pesky little breakouts, or irritations that show up sometimes on my skin. I have them in packet form as well. I like the little packets because they're easy to ingest lipsomally and they're easy to pack as well. And then at nighttime, I like this supplement called Holy Calm. It's by Agent Nature. I don't take it every night, but when I do, holy, I feel calm. Just like the name says. It contains spermidine, which helps with cellular renewal. And the supplement overall helps with sleep and relaxation. Obviously, sleep is so important for our skin. I think it's like one of the number one things you can do to help your skin is get enough sleep. But circling back to that statement about cellular, this is a hard one for me, guys. Cellular renewal, our cells need to renew so that way we it's our skin is exfoliating and we see new skin and it heals, the wounds heal and the lines soften, right? So, skin cell renewal is a process we always want to be supporting because as we get older, as we age, I don't like the word old, as we age beautifully, the cellular renewal process can become slower. So we want to do things that help support it, help keep it running, right? Now, a little supplement reminder, supplements are not a replacement for nutrition, hydration, sleep, and stress management. So these supplements are just meant to support everything else we're doing for our health and add a little extra boost. But you shouldn't rely on them for your nutrition. Obviously, you still need to get enough sleep. We need to stay hydrated and we need to really manage our stress levels because that is a killer on our health and it will show up on our skin. So remember, these are just little boosts that elevate, enhance everything we're already doing for our health. Don't rely on them completely and eat like shit and be like, it's okay because I'm taking these supplements. No, eat a whole foods diet. The supplements enhance the diet, add a little boost of nutrition that we may or may not be getting. That takes us to the next pillar, which is movement. I love being in motion. Movement supports circulation, stress management, and overall wellness. Like I said, I love movement. I work out 6 times a week and I walk every single day. 6 times a week may seem like a lot. I am just someone that has always been active in the fitness community. I was a dancer growing up. Once I quit dance, I joined my local gym. I haven't stopped moving since. It's something I do not only to look good, but to feel stronger. And it really helps me manage my stress and helps me mentally. I've always dealt with depression and anxiety, and movement gets me out of my head into my body and makes me happy. Rebounding is something I've gotten into recently on top of my normal fitness activity. I bought a mini trampoline and I've been doing about 10 minutes of rebounding a day. And when I first got on it, it just made me so happy. I felt like a little kid again on a trampoline in somebody's backyard. But the reason why I got into it because I read that it helps support the lymphatic system, helps create lymphatic drainage. And like I said before, I believe that my body needs help with that detoxification process. So I got the mini trampoline. I have so much fun on it. I do it 10 minutes a day, maybe twice a day if I have the time and the energy because it does wipe you out, you guys. But I've been loving it, and I actually have seen my skin just have a little bit more of a glow after I get off it because, you're increasing your circulation, that blood flow, and that as a result gives us a beautiful glow on our skin. And like I said, I walk every single day. I walk Brooklyn and myself as much as I can We get as many steps as we can get in, as the weather allows, as our bodies allow, because walking is so good for us. It's so good for our nervous system. And nervous system healing is what I need. I spent many years living in fight or flight mode, and my walking really helped get me out of that toxic cycle and into a healthier, happier space. So really pay attention to that, you guys. Pay attention to the things that make you feel calm, make your nervous system feel at ease. And as a result, you won't only be mentally healthier, you'll also see the positive effects on your body and on your skin. This is another note I wrote down. Chronic stress increases cortisol levels. Cortisol shows up on our bodies as high cortisol levels show up on our bodies as inflammation, acne, hair loss, all different crazy things. So, back to that point about stress management, it's really important you focus on managing your stress. Stress can kill you, and it has killed many people. So, if it's walking, if it's rebounding, if it's even reading a book, do more of those things and get your body to a happy and peaceful state, because stress is always going to be around. So you need to identify what helps lower those stress levels in your body. Here's another fun fact. Elevated cortisol can raise oil production. So not only will it show up as inflammation, the part of the reason why you may get acne from those elevated cortisol levels is the increase in the oil production, which I did not realize that was the case before I read this. Stress worsens skin conditions, we know that, and poor stress management leads to slower healing. So not only does it cause all of these issues like acne and hair loss to occur, but if you are doing some things to try to heal those issues, you're going to heal slower if the underlying cause of the stress is not managed. So, a takeaway from the movement pillar: sometimes skincare isn't the answer. And that's crazy because I love my skincare, and that at home care, those things we put on our skin. I've definitely seen a difference and improvement in my skin. I definitely have. I wouldn't have done the episode about external skincare if I didn't. However, you can't replace rest, movement, sunlight in the eyes in the morning, and stress reduction. Those things need to be your foundation, need to be the focus before you build upon that with other self care habits. You need to get enough rest. You need to move your bodies. You guys, movement is medicine. I can't say it enough. You don't need to work out as many times a week as I do, but you do need to move your bodies and walk every day. Get your steps in. We sit too much. And another thing I want to talk about within movement is breathwork meditation. This is something I implemented for that stress reduction and to help with my anxiety and depression. And it's been a game changer for my mental health state. I do it every night around 9 p.m., and it's truly the best part of my day. Sometimes, if I'm going through something like the beginning of the year when my home flooded, I'll meditate twice a day to keep myself out of that bad mental state, and it worked. It worked. So I will link free breathwork meditations in the show notes, the exact ones that I use. They're available for everyone on YouTube. So go check them out. Please, if you've never done a breathwork meditation, please try one. I promise you it's life-changing. Life changing. And that takes us to our last pillar, which is mindset. You guys, the way you speak to yourself matters. If you tell yourself every day that your skin is horrible, it's always going to be horrible to you, even when to everyone else it's glowing and clear and beautiful, because all you're going to focus on is the flaws. And we all have them. We all have pores. We all have texture. We all, well, not all of us. Some people are annoying and don't get breakouts, but a lot of us get breakouts. Acne is a very common thing. So the way you speak to yourself matters, and that's why you need to change your mindset when it comes to your skin, when it comes to your vision of yourself overall. So instead of telling yourself, my skin is terrible, rebrand it to my skin is healing. Okay? Just like when you're sick, don't say I'm sick, say I'm healing, because words manifest, mindset manifests, right? So we need to change that. We need to make this a more positive place, because this can be a little scary if we don't. Okay? I'll never have clear skin. If you're telling yourself that, then you're right. You won't, because in your eyes, it will never be clear. So rebrand that too. I'm becoming more confident every day. Tell yourself that. I'm becoming more confident every single day. No one's skin is perfect. Pores, breakouts, aging, it's all normal. It's all normal. Okay. We need to build confidence beyond our appearance, because you are more than your skin. And beauty starts here, it starts from within, and how you feel about yourself, the person that you are, how you show up to the world. That is the foundation to beauty, to external beauty. It's internal beauty. Internal beauty shines outwards, not to get corny, but it does. My mom always taught me that. So, with that being said, thank you so much for showing up here for another week of Life and Style with Brianna Cantore. If you have any questions or comments, DM them to me or comment on the show. I am so happy to be here. I want to keep making this show better and better, because I love learning things and I love sharing what I learn, and I love creating a beautiful and healthy lifestyle. With that being said, I want to shout out my outfit of the day. I'm wearing retro feet. You can follow me at Bree C. Terlizzi on Instagram, and follow the show at Life and Style Podcast. I will link those in the show notes as well. And with that being said, I'm closing out every episode with an affirmation. So today's affirmation is, I love myself from the inside out. My beauty, my worth, and my confidence come from within. So let's say that again. Let's do it all together. I'll speak it a little bit more slowly. I love myself from the inside out. My beauty, my worth, and my confidence come from within. One more time. I love myself from the inside out. My beauty, my worth, and my confidence come from within. With that being said, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.